Excellent.
I'm the man in the mine. Hands raw, face black and crossing the
Nobody can hear it, Brian. We'll have to figure it out one day.
I fall, yeah, I try every time.
So
I'm the man in the mine. I'm the man in the mine.
are we good? Are we
We
good?
are good, yes. And it's a shame that no one can hear that in Discord. But if you're watching the recording, you will hear it. It's a beautiful, beautiful song and intro there. I think it's so fascinating. It's wonderful. Hello, everybody.
Sick visuals, though.
Hello, everybody. So today at the Minerside Chat, we are going to be discussing the community's role in community marketing. Right. So we're going to invite a few of you guys up at a time to share your thoughts on the various topics we have, the various thoughts you might have on how we market, or in light of the foundation coming to existence, right? And this is stuff, of course, that we could be doing today, now. But as a synergy with what the OR Foundation does, I think we'll have quite a bit more strength to play off what they produce, take it as a community, and roll it into something bigger. So today we have Starship Fronk and Mr. Trey Buckingham. So guys, good afternoon. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. Good to be here.
Yeah, everything's going well on my side. It's been a crazy week. I changed all the struts, the shocks, the brake pads, and the rotors on my Honda Fit. And one or two bolts took 90% of my time. So that was wonderful. I loved it. I loved fighting with a bolt for 2 hours when I could have been done, 1 hour earlier. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and kind of see a show of hands. What's going to happen here is you have to raise your hand to speak, and then at some point, Mr. Starship will invite you to the stage. Please look at the general chat and the rules that were just posted a few minutes ago by Mr. Starship. So we want to be respectful of each other's time, and kind of just jump in a few of you at a time into the discussion. So, guys.
Maybe Brian, before we just get started, I think like the focus of this discussion should be centered around growth and growth ideas. So if you're an experienced marketer, be it in your day job or in your past life, or you've been a part of other communities and you can share key learnings.
Absolutely.
That would be really important.
Perfect. If you have any of that experience too, please jump up on the stage and share what has worked for other communities, what has worked in your, in your livelihood if you're a marketer. Because remember, the foundation is probably going to look at people in the community who are familiar with the product, who have good ideas, who can meet goals, and maybe the foundation one day will hire one of you guys and your expertise. So make yourself heard in the OR community. Become a somebody. Become a big miner, not a little miner, but a big miner. And you don't have to have a lot of ore to be a big miner. You just have to have a big mind. A big mind.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that OR as a community is going to need speakers. And the only way that somebody becomes a speaker, the first step is to find your voice and share it with others. So this is a great opportunity to show the community that you have a voice in the community, you have ideas to share with everybody, and we can openly discuss that and see what comes out on the other side of this. This is kind of going to be kind of a loose forum, just for us to kind of hash out some ideas. If you want to get an idea of kind of what the format is, we have an OR Foundation governance channel and the ecosystem channel where they were discussing governance, separate topic from today, but how they were going back and forth on various ideas and what they've seen work and not work. So
lots of ideas.
We want to do the same thing, but in the fact of, in the topic of marketing and growth here today. So excited to hear people's ideas.
Yeah, so I think we'll jump into the first topic, and that's kind of going to go away from the foundation into more community stuff. But what the foundation is, in case anybody's not familiar, it's going to change the marketing game. It's going to add pro resources. It's going to be separate from Hard Hat Chad's LLC, right? It's going to be its own thing for legal purposes that will allow a budget, marketing, partnerships, etc., and all that to flourish in a safer way for OR, right, than just having the single LLC. And this is pretty common in crypto. You want to have a foundation like the ETH Foundation. You want to have it kind of separate from the business arm. You want to have it as its own entity. You want it to have those protections for the people who are advertising inside it, because you don't want to fall in a trap where you're doing something that could be seen as, guaranteeing profit and so forth and all the Howey test stuff. So the foundation is going to be that. And our community role is going to take and make our own content, of course, but take whatever content that the foundation produces and just magnify it, right? In whatever ways we can, be it through your own live streams, your own content, your own educational content. There's a lot of stuff that not only can you share what the foundation produces, but we can see and we can discuss what we're lacking right now, right? I think personally, we could use more quick educational content on other formats, not just X. That's where I live. I live on X, but we know that there's a lot of other people that are using TikTok right now. Do we have any amount of TikTok content out there? Do we have any amount of Facebook? I mean, I know Facebook's more of the older generation, but a Facebook group, I know plenty of older people who love the idea of crypto mining and who would get involved if they could see the value proposition and if it's easy enough for them. So there's a big, vast world out there that we need to explore, and part of that comes alongside the foundation, that we penetrate all those avenues and we get more people mining. Because once the snowball effect happens, guys, the amount of ore in your wallet is just going to get so fat that you're just going to we're all going to pat ourselves on the back one day when this pays off, because we're mining when it's quiet, and we are going to be the ones that will, of course, reap the benefit in the future and push the ecosystem forward, right? Any thoughts, guys? Anybody want to come up and speak or add on to any of this discussion so far? Please raise your hand.
Yep, this would be the time. If you want to come up and speak your mind, please go ahead and raise your hand. There should be a raise hand icon, if I'm not mistaken. Brian, can you walk him through it?
Yeah, it should be request to speak at the bottom of your screen. I'm on PC, so it might be different for you on a phone. But yeah, request to speak, and we'll have you up here. First off, does anybody here have any marketing experience? Or let's talk about, while we wait for some speakers here, what has worked for other protocols that you have personally seen? Now, I know Starship has worked with other protocols, and I'm not sure about you, Trey. Have you worked in other crypto protocols before or seen the intimate details? No. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go first then. So I think community marketing, right? I was community manager for another project, and over time, I feel like that project, through no fault of my own, don't blame me, I felt like it kind of dwindled, right? Price speaks volumes, and price is one of those things that's hard to, when you're on a downtrend, it's hard to buck the price. It's hard to get off of the focus on, oh my gosh, the token is going down. I think that OR has done a fantastic job as a community of mining and using the product, even though the market has had a large downturn, right? Other protocols that don't have any value, let's say they don't have any yield, they don't have any unrefined ore, they don't have a mechanism like that, they don't have just staking, those tokens quickly go to zero. They lose 99% of their value because nobody wants to stick around because there's no value add even in the boring times. With ore, that's different. I think as a community we've done a great job of keeping motivated, being pretty happy. I can tell the chat always has questions. When moon is always going to be a thing for crypto. But I think as general, the toxicity I've seen in other communities when the price goes down is night and day different from our community, and how we have seemingly treated each other with fairly a decent amount of respect. And, that is invaluable. So I think we have good nature here, and that's important for attracting brand new users into this ecosystem. Without good nature, without good vibes, as you might say, we'll lose curious people very quickly. So I think that, even though the price is down, I think one of our assets is that we've had a good community and a good head on our shoulders and people that still mine. But yeah, let me hear. Oh, we got someone up. Yes, sir. This is Fred.
Hi everybody. I'm a little bit tired today, so I'll be
It's late for
short.
you.
Just a person. Yes, it's a bit. Just I have a personal doubt, and I would like to know if this could be clarified over here in the chat. Until what certain point is that we could use, because we've heard about people trying to create platforms in OR that could be gamified, like horse racings or any other type of concept. My question is, until what point is it legal or illegal to advertise this in different social networks besides X? And is it possible to join all the developers that are focused in the gamified area to come along and try to expand that same gamified platform to other social networks?
I think I
Really
have.
good
Yeah,
question. I'm not sure how to answer it,
I
but
think
Well,
I
let's
have
yeah.
one element that I can share. Unless TB, you want to go first?
No, please, Brian.
Yeah. So it's tricky to advertise those things off the bat. A partner that comes in and helps build on top of you is great. But advertising them, it does need the foundation. The foundation offers legal protection for those who work inside it. My previous project had to develop its own foundation. They built it out of Panama, and we all worked for it. So, with that in place, that prevented at least some degree, it separated us from the product and the developers were all protected by the foundation. So we were able to market freely. We couldn't say illegal things like there's no guarantee of future gains, right? But you have to be careful what you say still because the SEC still looks out for things like that. But once the foundation is placed, it gives the OR feed, let's say the X feed goes over to the foundation's control. That transfer away from HHC is good because then it allows the foundation to tweet things, to tweet about partnerships, new developments, new technology. And let's be real, some of these things still are not 100% accepted by the governments around the world, right? There are places that still would classify us as securities. There are places that would frown upon the developer being the primary advertiser, talking about, or to $1,000. All that's got to be separated. So the foundation is that entity that can allow, at least in my previous role at the previous job, that's what allows protection for us to market and co-market with other communities. So that is a good question. And I think at that point, when the foundation can start to be a safer entity to start co-marketing with different projects, and let's just use Refine Ore as an example, our last guest, and Cubs. This is just generalized example. It could be anybody. It could be Spuddy's project, etc. Then, yes, the foundation. Ecstasy had a question. The foundation. What happened to it? Is that project? Is it still around? Are you talking about my old project I worked for, Ecstasy? But anyway, and then once that happens, then there's probably much more leeway in co-marketing on all the different platforms. Yes, my previous project is still around. It is G-Trade, and it's still going. The foundation still allows us to be protected, and thankfully it's there. So I hope that answered some of your thoughts, Fred, or some of your questions.
It did. It did. I think people still they fail to understand how the meaning of OR being the store of value. I think since this is a new project and we've been here for 8 months since it became actually good. People still
Finally good.
people still really good. People need to understand that this in the long term can become something practical for them. We don't know which direction our economy goes, considering the geopolitical perspectives of what's happening now. And nowadays, the gold market is, I think, it's already saturated. People need to find other ways to protect themselves from what's coming regarding inflation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and OR is as good as any. It's a better vehicle than other store values I've seen online. Mr. Fronk, we've got Depp raising his hand. Yeah, so
her
I mean,
hand, her
her
hand.
hand.
Let's make sure.
There's a flower in the ear. I'm sorry, but yeah, I agree. There needs to be a solid store value on Solana, and it's got to be OR. Right, we're not going to take any other store value as this chain store value. It needs to be OR. Not just because of our bags, but because it's the fairest platform I've seen launched in a long time. And that's better for everybody.
Yeah. And if I may, I think so. You have gold, and then you have the step change improvement over gold, which was Bitcoin, which made it digital. And I think Ore's step change improvement over Bitcoin is the yield component. And so I think how we tell the story around yield is going to be very important, how we differentiate ourselves as a store of value, especially on Solana.
True.
Yeah, I agree
Yield
with
is
that
fun.
entirely.
Yield is fun. Yield sets a floor. That's my opinion. Yield sets a floor. If there's yield,
I,
there will be a floor.
I don't think it's just fun, but it's prudent economics that allow it to improve upon the design that has been placed in the past, right? I mean, you have this physical gold, big, bulky. You can't take it on an airplane. You can't take $100,000 worth of gold on an airplane without getting, frisked, and they're gonna check your bags and find all this gold and say, "What the hell are you doing with all this?"
They'll never find my gold.
Bitcoin, found a way to kind of solve that by being a digital form of it, but nobody's ever solved the yield issue with Bitcoin. I mean, they found ways to leverage trade it to try to create some sort of yield, an artificial form of yield for Bitcoin. Then people decided that's not enough. Then they created, proof of staking, right, where you can gain yield by staking your coins, and the market has just kind of gravitated in that direction. How do I hold something and get something back for it? And the fact that Ore, I feel like the design of Ore has really solved that issue, while only incentivizing holding, and those people who are short-term thinkers are the ones who kind of get punished and pay it to the long-term holders. So
Yeah.
the yield is actually like a real yield rather than an artificial form through some sort of perpetual product being played on the back end, or you lending it out so that way they try to make money with it to return it to you. It's actually real physical yield. Within the platform's parameters. So I think
And
that,
not only
like
that,
TB said, that's a big step change compared to what we've had.
And not only that, it's just fast. It's on Solana. It doesn't take 50 hours. It doesn't take 15 minutes, right? I said 50 hours. I was being sarcastic, but it doesn't take 5 minutes, 15 minutes for your deposit to go across chain. It's instant. What better, right? I think this is the right place for it. Solana's blazing speed combined with the vibrant ecosystem and the possible many, many partnerships Or can have in the future. This is the right place for a store of value outside of a main layer one. Right, its own layer one Bitcoin. So
We brought
the
up that. I'd
yeah,
like to have her, either ask a question or discuss, or find out what she wants to talk about.
GM guys, thanks for having me.
GM.
So glad to be here. I just want to share my thoughts about what I envision, how I envision potentially the foundation could work out, the way that it could work out. First, Fred mentioned that, how are we going to um, market this? Is it really the SOV? Is there any other way to spin this? I think that's one thing that as a holder I would expect foundation to lay the expectations on. Okay, what's the one sentence explanation of what Aura is? And every time you ask a person in the community, they'll give me the same answer rather than different answers. So I think defining that is a very important first step for the foundation. That's how I would think about the first steps. And the second is the way that I would like to see it form is not price or a number go up focus, but more um, uh, getting the word out there, getting more eyeballs. We can't
Mhm.
control the market, right? Or is another token in the ecosystem of Solana, which happens to be an ecosystem in the greater crypto. So if the market is not behaving well, or token is probably going to be affected by that. So we can't control what we can't control. What I think is that when the time comes, as we all know it will come, the work that will be put in, meaning all the teachings, all the efforts that are put into help people understand how to mine, to what is ore, to bringing it in and bringing people into the community, comes to fruition in the form of price action. So I'm hoping that the foundation is going to bring as many eyeballs as we can get for this very special project. When I look at the list of projects that actually generate revenue, I'm sure you guys have been seeing the circulating tweet where you see Phantom, you see Pump Fun, or is very unique on that list. And that's exactly what I would like to see Foundation focus on, how unique this project is, how this can be very transformative for a lot of people, and how early it is for most of us.
I agree.
I
I
think
think
those
those are
are
good points.
Exciting time.
great points. Yeah, I mean, I think finding those little nuggets in regards to ore and what makes it special and unique, and having something, an entity like the foundation being the one that leads the charge to put a light on that, so that way people have a direction in regards to whether it be rating posts or creating content or just sharing it with their friends in a casual conversation, making sure that those points are elucidated and in a digestible format, I think is going to be very important for marketing work. So yeah, I completely agree with you. It's not about just showing number go up, graph go up. Oh, green, look, this is fantastic. There
Would be
are
fantastic,
communities
though.
out there that. I mean, sure, that's great too. But I think really the big thing is, you can look at communities that have went through big downturns and still believed. I mean, XRP is an example that comes to mind. I still don't understand that community. They're fanatics.
They
They're
they
AI.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They believe in Bigfoot and UFOs and the end of the world and XRP to $1 billion. So they are the most fanatic people on Earth.
So how do you get people to be fanatical about ore? I think is a like the $1 million question.
Gosh. Well, I think leadership is a big deal. HHC, even though the foundation becomes what it becomes, HHC has to be the spiritual head, right? You always need a leader. You can't, and I say always need, but Bitcoin was successful after Satoshi stepped down. However, Satoshi is still the spiritual leader of Bitcoin, right? So a leader that is visible, like HHC, who's still hyping the product, who says, we might have developmentally finished the product. Maybe we can add a skin here or there, Halloween themes or some fun stuff like that. All that's fine, but as long as he remains in a leadership position to give people the comfort of knowing that he's here, he built a fairly distributed, safe store of value that hasn't had any major hacks and so forth. That's important to have that. And another thing that kind of brought up is yes, number go up is great, but it shouldn't be the focus of the foundation. I agree, because exposing it is important. There's something called the rule of seven. The rule of seven in marketing, which I had to just look up because I remembered it and I knew it applied here. It says a potential customer typically needs to be exposed to your brand, message, website, or product at least 7 times before they take action. Okay, so that all builds familiarity, which breeds trust via the mere exposure effect. So true, you see one person on Twitter or TikTok talking about ore, that's okay if you're a new person, you never heard of it. You see 5 people on Twitter talking about it from different accounts. Some of them are larger than others. Hey, these guys might know what they're doing. You see 7, 10, 15 people talking about it from a wide, diverse array of media, be it X, TikTok, YouTube, etc. The trust becomes even more ingrained. And then, boom, you feel like you're missing out on something. Oh, what are these guys? These guys are all on it. What do they know? You've been exposed to it multiple times, and I think Ore community has actually done a great job on X. Maybe it's my feed just focusing on Ore because that's what I'm searching for here and there and talking about. But I see people jumping in up about Ore even in this downturn when things are typically a lot quieter, and they are a lot quieter. Trust me. CT is. As someone who lived on X for the last 2 years in my prior role, the CT is much more sedated right now because of the market downturn.
Yep. So I know we got a few questions in the chat here. So Brent brought up that he's really interested in growth initiatives outside of what may be viewed as conventional marketing, e.g., partnering with Coliseum for an Ore hackathon, build on and around Ore, maybe outreach to Solana ecosystem allies for treasury allocations to Ore, small percent of profit to Ore mining. I mean, those are all potentially great ideas. Maybe TB, do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, no. So I think this is the most exciting question, and I think it's the bull case for OR and the foundation here. So I'll just like give the background. 2025, and I kind of mentioned this in the Discord as well, but if you think about 2025 being the year that the OR protocol was kind of created and almost finished, basically feature complete. 2026 is the year OR goes after growth. As a function of that, Hard Hat Chat is standing up an entity to pursue growth and pursue distribution. And so I think one of the most exciting opportunities we have in front of us is establishing OR as a core primitive on Solana, next to swaps, borrow lend, prediction, and perps. So you can imagine a separate tab on Jupiter or Phantom or Backpack or anywhere else, a consumer front end where there's already crypto users with a wallet, adding mining as one of those core primitive tabs, I think would be a massive unlock. And all you really need is one to kind of get the ball rolling. And so I think one of the goals of be it the foundation or Hard Hat Chat or Regolith could be pursuing that first consumer front end to add an OR mining tab. I think that would be a huge unlock, and I think that would be huge for distribution and hopefully for kind of like excitement and hype around OR on CT as well.
Yeah, because you need the foundation to set up that Apple Store and Google Play app, right? You can't HHC can't do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that
I
is
don't
a
even
big
know if it's an
unlock.
app. I think it's more like, okay, imagine this. You go to Jupiter today, over the last 2 years, they've added prediction markets and they've added perps. Can they add a mining tab?
Ooh, my
Is
goodness.
mining that? So Totally bought in. Solana Foundation's bought in. There are key stakeholders in the Solana Foundation that are bought into seeing OR succeed, who love mining. Can we make digital mining a core primitive on Solana like
We can.
Borrowland? We can.
We
We
can.
should. I think this would be like
We
the
We
key
will.
will.
catalyst. We will. So I think like if you want to tell the bull story, it's that all the work in 2025 was to making the protocol work. All the work from here on out is going to be establishing mining, digital mining for OR as a core primitive on Solana. And as Steph said, telling the OR story and making sure we get that story right.
Ooh, chills.
And so,
Chills.
yeah, but you can imagine what would happen, right? If any one of these front ends, wallets, added mining as a tertiary or, another tab,
Absolutely.
if you will.
Yeah, the wallets are a great target. Your Phantom, your Exodus
Goosebumps,
wallets.
guys. Goosebumps.
So yeah, goosebumps. So like, okay, so what do we
Goose
do? Like, we need the community involved in Jupiter's comments, in Phantom's
True.
comments. We want to see mining. We want native mining in Jupiter. We want native mining in Phantom. And are there ways that the foundation can incentivize, these protocols to maybe add, or as a mining protocol? I think there are, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the work that can be done with the foundation. I think that's why everyone should be extremely excited that this is going to be getting set up. Hard Hat Chad can focus on what he's working on as well as kind of like technical upgrades. But the foundation and the folks that are going to be at the foundation can really drive and use their experience and leverage to kind of push this narrative. And I think that's a really exciting
That's
premise.
sick. I just the thought of having a mining tab on Jupiter, and these partnerships work both ways, right? Like in my previous role, there would have been a partnership like that with a meme coin. They would get a small percent of revenue. It does kind of fracture, but ultimately, if it gets exposed to 100,000 miners, then who cares? Because the revenue skyrockets, and then your partner gets their benefit too, right? So the growth
Exactly.
that you
Right.
described is absolutely
These are going to be
nuts.
net new users. It's pure distribution to the exact type of people that we'd want. And like, I think, yeah. So half of it is that, half of it's telling the story. Like, this is a fair thing. This is a fair protocol. It's fair launch. And so, yeah, it's a really exciting opportunity in front of us now that the kind of protocol is complete, is basically feature complete.
Yes, you've been rugged one too many times already. Switch to the mines. It's a very simple proposition, and
It is. And just today, I think, so there were some posts going around how retail is the key unlock for crypto. So I think Logan Jastremaski tweeted about this, and then someone from the Solana Foundation tweeted about this as well. I think it was Harkle. But basically saying like, little do they know, and I think it was in reference to Pumped Up Funds revenue for the last month. I think it passed everyone else basically on Ethereum. And the idea being retail flows are really important to the chain because that's where, like, for example, Robinhood makes a lot of their money from retail flow. And so bringing retail onto the chain is going to be very important for any chain, be it Solana, Ethereum, or even Tempo. And so, or Hyperliquid for that matter. AMMs and prop AMMs can quote tighter spreads for retail. That's where a lot of like the money is made, if you will. And so the foundation wants to bring more retail users on chain. And I think they can do that through mining by kind of the yield that OR offers. When people see that refining yield, 100% plus, 97%, whatever it is, I think that's like a very enticing way to get people kind of on chain and mining and testing things out.
Yeah, I think it's threefold, right? You see the yield. It has to be marketed in a way that, like, the education materials are made for the type of users that I think particularly use mobile nowadays. Going for the younger generation that's interested in tech savvy. And making it easy to use, so it is able to grab as wide of an audience as possible. I think are three kind of really strong tenets that OR is well positioned to do.
Yeah. So I'll go what Thep said one more time, which was that I think like part of the core foundation for the foundation will be telling the OR story and making sure we get that right. And so everyone can kind of go out and tell the story. The other part will be growth and kind of business development, if you will, on behalf of the OR protocol and the OR holders, which is going out to consumer-facing front ends, leveraging our resources in the Solana community, and trying to grow from there.
That's
cool.
painting a wonderful picture. I think, man, that's just the partnerships alone that could erupt from this are fantastic. I can't imagine how many people would love to see mining in the Phantom wallet, for example. And that's obviously just speculation. We could get Phantom, but maybe we can't because
we can do it. No,
they've integrated.
We certainly can do it, Brian.
Perfect. I'm not going to read anything into that, but what you just said, we can do it. So
we can.
It
will take us, but we can do it. Yeah.
Hyperliquid's on numerous wallets. In case some of you guys don't know, Hyperliquid is on Rabby, MetaMask, and they're getting
Phantom.
that partnership.
They're on Phantom.
Oh, they are on Phantom too?
Yeah.
Perfect example. Wallets are their own little mini ecosystems, right?
So and here's the other bull picture I'll say. Wallets are trying to differentiate from each other. And so there's a kind of like leverage play you can do with these front ends where you can say, adding this will bring you more users because it's something that differentiates you from the next one. And I think that's what we saw in 2025, where wallets were adding different types of features. You saw Soulflare, who's just added kind of like private sends, private swaps. Phantom added Hyperliquid perps. Jupiter added portfolio view. So everyone's trying to differentiate themselves from each other and trying to like pull each other from because the switching costs are so low. I do think mining can be a component where you would want maybe switch from one wallet to the other. At least that will be the pitch.
I'm sold. Give me the wallet.
Pretty simple.
I'm still
Sold,
holding.
enough said.
I'm still holding. So that you sold me on holding some more. So I'm holding still. We've got Garrett raising his hand.
Fantastic. And then we do also have another question here. I just want to, make sure that we're not missing questions in the chat. So Dennis Darian brings up this OR Foundation. Who's going to pick the members since it's a legal entity? I guess being part of it, you can't be anonymous. So probably the members will somehow have to be doxxed, ? The members of the foundation are already known to the team. When can we know them? I mean, I don't know in regards to the legality of requiring foundation members to be doxxed. Um, once again, I'm going to defer to TB.
Yeah, no, I would. So Hardhat Chad is going to be the ultimate kind of decider of who gets put in the foundation, at least initially. I think that's like by far the right decision. I think that's exciting. He's going to kind of like handpick with consulting. I think he's going to consult Coliseum if he hasn't already, and some of the other or large ore holders and investors, as well as maybe the Solana Foundation to pick the kind of like right person or team to kind of lead this effort, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. He should be the first person to kick it off because you don't need us middling meddlers to delay or add our own, because there's 1,000 voices in governance. So yeah, let Hard Hat Chat pick the first wave of foundation hires.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hey,
Yep, go
Hello.
ahead.
guys, I wanted to comment on the wallet partnerships. I know there's one wallet that's getting ready to launch called Umbra that I know for a fact the team is really interested in partnering with Or, and they were a little jealous that you guys kind of had a partnership with Privacy Cash, I think. But Umbra, the private wallet, I know for sure that they really like Or and they would love to have Or in their anonymity set, and they would probably push features for mining Or in their wallet if you ask them to.
Nice. Do you have contacts
Fantastic.
with this team?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I would send them to Trey, for example, for future when this foundation has officially launched. Maybe that's something they would love to pursue, and maybe they couldn't pursue. Maybe HHC could not pursue that due to legal reasons. Initially, right? There's a lot going on that the foundation can again shield HHC from personal liability with any kind of partnerships. So, I think that's something that definitely needs to get to the right hands ahead of time. So when the foundation launches, that BizDev can kind of pursue that. That sounds pretty cool already. I'll have to
Yeah,
look
no,
them up.
Garrett,
Umbra.
please friend me on Discord and then let's talk in Telegram.
Yeah.
And this is something we can get started on now. So
Yeah, for sure. And
let's do
you
it.
on X, so I'll send you a message. And then I also just wanted to say in regards to marketing that what really drew me to Or was things like self-custody and also the risks with having. I mean, a lot of Bitcoiners, don't self-custody as much as they used to. And one thing that Hardat Chad pointed out that really drew me into Or was the risks with things like Coinbase BTC, where you have Bitcoin on Solana and you have the large custodians that have the high concentration of bridged Bitcoin. So I think really drawing on the Bitcoin community, I feel like a lot of the Or community does come from the Bitcoin community, but I also feel like Solana is really aligned with Bitcoin and the ethos of Bitcoin. So I think drawing on just the crossover between Bitcoiners using Solana is like a huge selling point for Or.
That's a good point. Good crossover. I think that the idea behind both, obviously, this is a more modern take on Bitcoin, in my opinion. That's a big selling point. Yes, store value.
I've heard it. I've heard it referred to as Gen Z Bitcoin. So I think, and I think
they've coined that.
Yeah, I think
No
if
cap.
you look around the community, there's quite a few people in the community who are Bitcoin OGs, right? I mean, I myself am a Bitcoin OG. I mean, not OG. I mean, I'm like 2016.
Is there something
OG.
you haven't told us, Mr. Fronk?
I'm not Satoshi, I promise. But no, I mean, I believe in the Bitcoin ethos so much that I always looked for products that had some foundational similarities to the Bitcoin ethos. It strayed me to a lot of random coins that I'm not going to get into, but one of the projects that I found was Or, that I felt really had a lot of that same ethos built into its protocol and its community. So I think there's quite a few people who are kind of Bitcoiners who, got soured on Ethereum, for example, and found Or on Solana. And I think that's a really good way to go, is to, try to get into that market as well.
I think so. I totally agree. I think a lot of us are ex-Bitcoiners, and that's because we wanted Bitcoin to be Or, and it just fell short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was hard at Chad's original vision, was like, how do I permissionlessly bring Bitcoin over to Solana? And once he realized he couldn't do that without a kind of like third-party custody solution, he was like, all right, we're going to have to create our own. And that's where kind of Ore was born, and now here we are.
Here we
Absolutely.
are.
Here we are. Ecstasy brought up a question.
Oh, by the way,
Chad,
let's say one more thing.
oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
If you go to ore.fyi, I think that Dawood has done like a really good job of condensing Hardhat Chad's white paper equivalent down into like 3 paragraphs. And so
Oh yeah, I think it's excellently written.
it's really well. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Ryan. And so I think like what a great way to kind of like spread the message is like it's shorter than the Bitcoin white paper, and it basically kind of like touches on the same premises, and then extends on them. So
Yeah,
good
it's a
summary
good,
there.
great intro. Great intro to somebody. Say, hey, what's OR? Go to OR.fyi, look at the stats. I love that we have all the stats here. They can get idea of the max supply is a wonderful coin set to run. You know, this is hardly anything has a 3 million set supply. Meme coins seem to want the most bajillions of zeros behind their coin as they can. So I think all the data here is just excellent. It's all truthful. We're not always deflationary. Sometimes we're inflationary, but it's just that. It's a community built, truthful site that helps people identify some selling points, such as the staking APY, the unrefined, etc., and how much liquidity is available. That's great too. You know, so that's man. I think the community's done a great bang up job so far, putting a bunch of different tools out there for the product. So
Yeah, no, it's an amazing site. I think also SLX, his site is it hog.fun, I think?
It's hog.win.
Hog.win. Okay.
please don't let me misspell this.
We actually used let's see if it works.
What is it?
HAWG.
HAWG.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I have failed. Hog. Okay, here we go. So here's hog.win. That looks better.
So what SLX did, he's another community member from the beginning, and he's like basically archived a ton of the historical data for ORE. So he has like all the round history. I think, what is it, SSF? Like everything except for like the first maybe 5,000 rounds or something like that.
It's everything except for the first 10,000 rounds or so, because before the ML was put in, the way to query the data was really strange. He had a good explanation for it, but apparently you would have to pull the records manually one by one or something. So that data is really, really hard to pull, but the rest of it he does have queried and indexed here.
Nice.
And I think actually the Awaken team, so the Awaken tax team we just worked with to kind of ship their automated OR tax feature, is leveraging some of the minor features on this site.
Oh, fantastic.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's been great. Who's still up on stage? Garrett, anything else you wanted to share? Any thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to say I just sent you a message, Trey, so I'm happy to intro you to the Umbra team, and I know I think that could be a great collaboration.
Agreed, Garrett.
You're
we'll take
a
advantage of that.
gentleman
Thank you
and a
so much.
scholar.
Awesome.
Actually,
Thank you
Garrett, I have a
so
question
much.
for you if you don't mind staying up for just a sec.
Absolutely.
Are there ways you would like market OR differently, having come from like a Bitcoin background? Would you like market it as more of like a hard currency, or
Yeah, I
don't mean to
will.
put you on the spot, but if you've thought about it, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, that really, one of the things I loved about Solana when I first started using it is just compared to using like a SEX is the self-custody wallet and all the DeFi that's available and the ease of use. And I think that there's a lot of people who own Bitcoin on a SEX that might be better served holding or in a self-custodial wallet. I just think like the kind of things that Bitcoiners always try to the message that Bitcoiners are always spreading, like things like self-custody and not your keys, not your coin. I think that can transfer over really well to OR, and obviously all the DeFi integrations and all the problems with bridging Bitcoin to Solana. I think all of those are great selling points.
Awesome. Yeah, that's true, because I think people say one of the flaws with Bitcoin is everyone was tried to get out at the same time. The network would get so congested it would take like years, basically, to get your Bitcoin either from a self custody wallet to a SEX or from a SEX to a self custody wallet.
Oh yeah, it's
And so I
terrible.
think
The
that's a
network
selling point.
congestion is terrible. I remember October 10th, I tried to move some Bitcoin, and it took me 6 hours. And I was like,
Yeah,
this really can't be the best way to do this.
But it
Yeah, there's
was
clearly
plot twist. It
a lot.
was.
I mean, clearly the Bitcoin network is going through their own, evolution with the knots and all the debate about all the clutter on the Bitcoin network. So I think the strength of the Solana network is a great selling point, and I think it does appeal to a lot of people who probably got into Bitcoin or got into crypto through Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Now, quick topic shift, I guess.
Well, we still have questions in the
Oh, go
chat.
ahead. Go ahead.
Particularly, Ecstasy has 1,000 questions that I'm sure
Well,
he
I mean,
wants
can you whittle it
answered.
down to 999 at least?
I will
Starship,
do my
do your
best.
best.
First was a comment that, but Chad is indicating he's stepping away or wanting to from his other message regarding optimizing eyeballs. How is that going to work with him as a spiritual leader? So I don't think the way that he phrased everything, he's not stepping away necessarily. Yeah, he is to some degree, but it's not like he's going to be just be gone. It's not like we're never going to see uh, HHC again. So I think that's a really key distinction to make. Obviously, he wants the marketing and growth to go through the foundation, and we'll have constant contact back and forth between the two entities, I would imagine. So I don't think that is really going to be an issue down the line.
He's a storyteller, and he can still tell the story about what
Yeah.
his vision and so forth, and just be
So, and
there.
then XCC is saying, so HHC, regolith investors and large holders are going to decide who gets access to those funds. What about the little guys who collectively hold a bunch? I'm not even, is that referring to the foundation?
Are you talking about a community purse, the Gov fund, if you will? Is that what you're talking about,
Yeah,
Ecstasy?
so I think he's talking about if how everything is formulated, if the admin fee were going to the foundation, HHC gets to decide that. I mean, HHC's decide everything in your life so far in regards to OR. So, in regards to regolith investors, I don't think they have any input at all because that's a separate entity. And large holders, I don't think are going to be making that decision either. So I'm not really certain about that question.
When the foundation does launch, it's going to definitely be a balance of how much public information is made aware versus how much is still in private, because you still need your project alpha. You can't let all the alpha spill. And as far as the Gov Fund budget, what if a competitor erupts again that tries to copy everything we do? So there's definitely a balance between what we're going to be, spending, how much people need to know. Like, do we need to know every single last dollar of the foundation's Gov Fund expenditures? I would say no. But since the Gov Fund is in effect the investors'
I'd
kind
say
of Gov Fund,
we probably shouldn't go into that without knowing what the foundation is even set up as, because we don't know what the specifics are, right? So I think we let HHC figure out the legal ramp, how it's set up legally and set up the parameters of the foundation, so that way we don't have to speculate on those things. We'll see what it is when
I'm
it's
going to
launched.
wildly speculate. I'm going to wildly speculate all
I will
night
bonk
tonight.
you.
No, I'm still going to do it. You can't hit me hard enough with your little hammer there, your little peg
Oh,
axe. I mean, okay,
I'll get a bigger hammer if I need to.
okay. Whoa, slow down, ease down. You broke the transaxle. Slow
But
down.
yeah, I mean, in regards to the foundation, we know, I think everybody here knows exactly what we know from the chat. There's not really anything else that, we're going to be able to give you or elucidate on. I think more so we want to talk about what ideas we can bring to the table to market or itself, and how we as a community can work alongside an entity like the foundation in order to make OR as visible to as many eyeballs as possible.
And that
Yeah.
does
The
segue.
last thing I'll say on that, I think Hard Hat Chad is going to be as engaged as he can be in assisting the foundation to do their job. So whatever it is, we have to remember the people at the foundation are going to be the growth and marketing experts, and where they want to pull Hard Hat Chad in, where they think they'll get the most use out of him, they will, and he will support and be there for support as well.
Cracking the whip.
Welding had a question. Hey man, we need price pump and marketing efforts while people are mining during this period of a bull market. What? We're not in a bull market, I don't think, number one. But
Did I miss something?
price pump and marketing efforts. Okay, I think he's responding to somebody in regards to that question, perhaps.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah. All right, so we're caught up on questions. I know you said you wanted to do a topic change.
Well, it's kind of actually segues into the topic now. So community grants, right? So the foundation may be able to give us grants for builders. And that's a powerful tool as well. However, we do have to be careful. I know that in my last project there were grants, and I don't think many of those projects actually got off the ground. Because grants are kind of a sticky topic when you're dealing with a bunch of anonymous people that are trying to build. Sometimes the accountability isn't there, right? So I think community can develop some great and fantastic ideas, but ultimately, if they're good enough, some of these ideas may need some money to get off the ground, may need their experts, right? So that's where the community and the foundation can work together in a synergy, identifying things that are worthy of pursuit, doing due diligence, and then issuing some funds in small increments as developmental milestones of any other project is completed. Because let's say there is something that is absolutely mind-blowing that's coming up, and everybody sells you a great pitch, and the community, yeah, let's go for it, and then it rugs, right? That would be a terrible look and a terrible waste of funds. So grants and the community here, we can work together to identify people who have built products before, bring them to the attention of OR, see what, get them involved in mining. First off, they have to get exposed. You can't just have somebody that comes in out of nowhere and just wants to build for their own personal gain. No, get them involved in the idea behind OR, the Bitcoin adjacency for Gen Z, whatever pitch you want to focus on that'll pull them in. Get them mining, and if they have good ideas, it might be possible that there could be some grants out there that could build upon community ideas with, of course, goals, KPIs, and careful consideration of what they want to build. Have y'all considered grants, Mr. Trey, or anything like that in the long run? I know this is still all ideation right now, but
I think this is very much in the ideation phase. Like, I can give my opinion on it. This is not the opinion of Hard Chat or anyone else, but I don't know if the foundation should be in the game of capital allocation. I think maybe we should leave that to the pros, so like a Coliseum or whoever else, and maybe we partner with, maybe the foundation partners with Coliseum and funds a hackathon where the judges are maybe some folks from the community as well as some folks from Coliseum or wherever, and maybe the foundation picks the tracks and the community picks the tracks we want to see kind of built. But I think once the foundation kind of plays the role of the capital allocation, I think it can get a little tricky. That would just be my opinion. Down the line, maybe it makes complete sense. But I think that there are other ways to maybe incentivize builders. And I'll give you an example. You build a product, it starts to get attraction. Maybe there's opportunity for kind of like fee shares and stuff like that down the line, after a certain threshold, and you've proven yourself. But yeah, I think by partnering with some of our ecosystem partners like Coliseum, and between that and maybe some fee share components, there are things we can explore as far as, I think, taking a step back. I think it's really important that you're able to build a profitable business and grow that business on top of OR. And so with that as the premise, I think there's some really interesting, cool ways that the foundation can play a role, be it partnering with professional capital allocators like Coliseum, or with playing around with some of the admin fee share stuff.
all good points. I'm not going to disagree with anything for sure. I was not in biz dev. I did marketing side of stuff. So that's all good stuff. I'm sure if there's a professional that the foundation hires that'll work in that arena, perfect. And work with partners without being overly focused on just handing out grants. Understandable. I'll leave it to the experts, but it is an exciting topic nonetheless, because again, everything that the ecosystem expands with is just more eyeballs on ore.
Absolutely, totally agree. And it is exciting. So if we can use some of the how that gets distributed, I think it'll be exciting to figure out.
Good on you. You can handle that puzzle. We'll
I
blame
don't
you
know if
if it
it'll
all
be
goes
me. I don't
wrong.
know if it'll be me, but just giving my like personal thoughts as a holder. That would just be my yeah.
Yeah, I
Perfect,
think,
perfect.
there's certain ways to incentivize people, but I think really the best holders are the ones who don't need to be incentivized in order to spread a message, right? I get that there's some opportunistic ways to give out grants that could yield, results, but really, is it going to be efficient capital usage? I don't know. Um, Obviously, somebody who's more of an expert in marketing would understand the metrics for that a little bit better. But generally, any project that I've been a part of, I didn't need to be paid to be a part of it, right? I came to it of my own volition. I did it, based on my research, and I gained an interest in the protocol or product that I was buying into. So I think that the way you're going to get people to be more sticky is to find more ways to get more people interested rather than I'm going to go and pay a bunch of TikTokers some money and see what sticks in regards to just advertising. I mean, maybe that also helps bring some people in, but getting good storytellers to really shine light on the things that make Ore unique, I think, is going to be the biggest strength of the community in
Yeah.
regards to getting more people to actually stick.
Yeah, I agree. I have no idea why I'm here, actually. No, I know why I'm here. I like ore. No, how did I get up on this stage? Nobody's being paid here, right? Okay, so anyway, um, marketing is sticky because I will share with Trey a few marketing agencies that my previous project worked with, and at some point when you have time, Trey, we wasted tens of thousands of dollars for poor performance. And again, it's kind of product market fit and the spirit of the advertising agency and how they work with your parameters and so forth. But man, I'll share some terrible horror stories with you so that the foundation can at least get some knowledge dropped from me. That way, the marketing can go a direction which is good for at least avoid some of the things that I saw. But yeah, marketing, whew, man, that's its own topic by itself. However, amplifying official announcements. I think that's on our topic. And again, if anybody has any thoughts or concerns or questions, please raise your hand and we'll pull you up here. But we have another topic here, which would be amplifying official announcements authentically. Guys, I do have some things to share here, right? The one thing you don't want to do, at least on X, I'm not an expert in TikTok. I'm not an expert in Facebook. I'm not an expert. I do a lot of stuff on X. Lately, I've been busy with other things, but you can get shadow banned quite easily. And don't always link to ore.supply in every post you do because the algorithm will punish your account, right? When you bring up ore in conversations as a community, make it authentic, make it full of details. The algorithm does not want a half sentence or go to the moon. It's going to punish you. Talk about ore authentically and without posting a link every single time. Do not do it, because that is another thing. X wants your eyeballs to stay on X. So you can mention ore, and people see it enough, their curiosity may take them to the ore.supply X page, official ore, whatever. I can't remember the exact name of it right now. If they go to there, they can, of course, then follow the links out to ore.supply and satisfy their curiosity. But do protect your accounts and keep them in good standing because we're going to need everyone's voice when the foundation launches and there's marketing. We're going to amplify that marketing together. So, and a recap, don't post ore.supply with everything you post. Don't shill the link, shill the idea, shill the vision. Use long sentences, not too much. Keep it under the character limit. And don't spam it full of emojis. A few are fine. But protect your account. Comment on other things. Comment on different topics that are interesting you. Keep your X account healthy. That way your voice will go farther when it's time to amplify. That said, I don't have any experience on TikTok. I don't have really any experience on some of the other social medias. If anybody does and has anything to share, please do so. But I do know that in the early days, before the X algorithm became open source, that my intern account was shadow banned. So please be careful, guys. Again, don't post or.supply every single time. Use it sparingly and tactically. I'd say tactically. How about that, Mr. Fronk? Do it tactically.
Absolutely.
Sage wisdom from Brian.
Yes.
So
But yeah, you guys run with these announcements already. I see some of you in the chats. One other thing to mention is that a reply is worth 10 likes, right? If you go into or.supply and they post something that you're going to comment on, that's worth 10 likes, right? So if you write a nice comment there, you're boosting the post for everybody in our locus of control and everybody's feed. Topics like mining, crypto. If somebody's a rock collector, they may start seeing ore posts, right? The algorithm will push it out to all the applicable keywords in the post. So again, comment every time ore posts something, comment on it. Comment and it will boost us organically. Don't just hit like. Don't be lazy. Say something nice. Say something very nice about ore, and that's cool. With pictures if you can, even better.
yeah, I mean, spend 1 minute of your day to pump your bags is basically the TLDR.
Yeah, but tactically, pump your bags. Don't spam, man. Nobody will see your post if you spam, and that's not good. Keep your account healthy. But yeah, that's and one of the other amplification things that protocols have done is points. Now, I don't think we can do points, and maybe the foundation will prove me wrong and find some cool way. But I think something cool that we could do is, and this is just idea, this is not anything official, but invite a miner or sponsor a miner where your friend, you can, sponsor them rounds, they connect their wallet, not a referral so much. I don't want everybody to get a cut of the pie, but sponsor them for, 10 rounds, let them do some ore mining on their phone, and just get them involved, right? Once they're involved, and especially if they win something, it could be a thing. I don't know what you guys think, but I would love to see a sponsor, a miner, and one-click mining to start from the main account. There's some one-click miners on the other second-hand miners, but it'd be nice to see it on the main protocol page too.
So I just want to put out there a reminder: if anybody wants to raise their hand and come up and chat, I'm hearing way too much Brian. I love it, but
Oh my
I want to
gosh.
hear from everybody else as well. So, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea that we're just up here chatting when it should be open to everybody as well. So, just a friendly reminder.
Yeah.
I think we got a quiet crowd tonight anyway. Yeah, I mean, what were you even talking about?
Well, what?
Took
You weren't
myself
listening
off.
to me? You weren't listening, amplifying official announcements, and then some random Brian ideas. That's what was happening. Random Brian
That's
ideas.
what was happening.
Yeah, my account's abstract ideas, so that's what I do. I give abstract ideas, and I share them all day long. You just ask me, I'll give you 5 abstract ideas for ore anytime, day or night. Just hit me up with DM. So I guess this next topic, I guess, is something that, man, I don't 100%.
Well, we got another question in the
go
chat
ahead.
from Ecstasy. What specific things do you think is lacking / needed to get more miners in?
I would still say one-click mining, just to make it super obvious. But
I honestly, I agree with that.
that's my opinion.
100%. I think one-click mining is the way to go, but that's my personal
Fund your
opinion.
wallet, start mining, and then does the
Yep.
whole grid. And maybe you'll get lottery mined. And even if you get a lottery mine hit and your P&L is an entire ore, I mean that sells it pretty easily. You're going to keep going. So it's and that's going to be more successful in times like this when we have like 200 miners than it's going to be a year from now when there's 1,000 miners mining. Lottery mining is going to be a lot harder. Yes, Ecstasy, like if the ore page right there had a fund your wallet and start mining and one button, and boom, it just goes through and starts mining for you and shows your P&L. I think that would do a lot of good for the main page, in my opinion.
So you're
Uh,
saying
yeah,
obviously you could probably do this because it's power based but needs soul for ore. Oh, you could obviously for BTC you could probably do this. Yeah, I mean with BTC you can do that, but with ore obviously it's going to be quote unquote one click mining. You still have to have soul in the wallet, right? So, um, I mean, I think it's just a moniker, one click mining, rather than I have to sit there, click all the tiles, put in some inputs. I mean, if there's a button that I can click go and it mines,
yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
I had a whale that got him, at least a whale in my old coin. He got on board and he had a lot of questions, right? So he had a lot of questions. How do I do this? What does this do? What does that do? And I explained it. But ideally, we shouldn't have to explain anything. I should just tell him, hey, fund your wallet and just click start mining. And from there, let it mine, and he can read on the details. He can do more advanced features if he wants to. He can go to another third party front end, right? It just you get deeper and deeper if you want to, but at the base level, you just click one click mining. And I think that would be a great development personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Thep has come back up onto the stage.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry if I'm taking too much of your time, but
Not
just
at all.
wanted to
Not at
add
all.
this angle of how Solana currently doesn't have a token that everybody has a consensus on being the culture token of Solana. I actually tweeted about it recently, asking people what they think about the culture token of Solana is. There was a lot of bunks, as you can expect. Um, um, some people said Solana, obvious answer. And of course, our OR community came through and they said OR, but that's a very low hanging fruit where OR can actually take over. Um, I do think that it was bunk at one point. Um, I doubt that it is now. With
People are
all
over
due
it.
respect, yeah, I
Yeah.
love a bonk. I was a bonk whale at some point, so there's no hate on this end. I actually love Nam, worked with him, and respect him for what he does. But I think bonk is no longer the culture token. When I say culture token of Solana, I mean think about one token that people just hold and respect holding that token, and it was bonk back in 2022. I'm pretty sure everybody would agree with me who has been in Solana for years. And I think there is some dethroning opportunity there that OR is the best contender for that.
I think it could be too. We have a culture. We
Absolutely.
have great memes. We have really good memes. I love miners running without a shirt on. Don't ask me why. But there's been a bunch of other great memes coming out from Or. I'm love. You have to have fun here. That's one of the things that after I kind of got burned out on memes, I thought, okay, if I'm going to join a new community, I have to have fun in that community. Otherwise, if I'm not having fun in the Discord or the Telegram, the coin's going to die. That's part of my thesis, right? I think for investing in coins, it's got to be a good thesis on the coin itself, but then the community has to have a good feel. And if it doesn't, if it's not active, then you have no community. And that's why memes are so fun, right? You got a community that's all cheering on like big cheerleaders. Everybody's like, "Yeah, look!" And you've got those buy bots going in the Telegram. Every time somebody buys like $1 worth, it like splashes you with lights and feedback and seizure mode. It just throws all that stuff at you. Like that is fun. I get it. There's graffiti everywhere. There's funny memes. There's a pig with some hats on. Whatever meme you're making, it's all great, and that's all community. But then, when that coin crashes, of course, or rugs, the community just flees in absolute all directions. That's why I think crypto is just kind of they're not done with memes. There's always going to be the degenerate gamblers, but you can definitely, I agree, that pivot to something like OR, which has staying power, trust, integrity, and fairly launched, fairly distributed, no VCs, all those good talking points resonate with people, and we've got to use them. We definitely have to use them.
Yeah, and OR, one other thing I want to add here is that OR has a very impressive base of followers. I mean, you'll see people from all walks of life, from Solana to Bitcoin OGs, as you guys mentioned before. It's such a great foundation that most projects don't have. You look at the seed people who funded during seed to people who are sticking around and publicly talking about it, right? Pretty big names. So, in my opinion, like culturally, up only for ore, and people who are here now is probably going to be remembering these days as, yeah, I remember I was there, and I'm glad I was there, and I was very, very early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Early. I don't want to be. I want early to be over next week, so that way we can be. We were late to or, and we were early to or, and y'all are late.
I could use a little bit more time too,
I mean, the staking is just a key, and my unrefined, it just keeps going up. So I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, that's
But
good.
I don't. Look, I
I'm in a
don't
race with
hate.
all you, though.
I don't hate seeing people kind of um, uh, convert their unrefined to refined. We all get gems in peace. Like I feel bad for them. That's how I feel.
I think like to Thep's point around the culture coin of Solana, we talked about this I feel like months ago, but framing ore as like a net positive, framing the success of ore as a net positive for the success of Solana, I think is like a really good selling point. The more miners there are, the more people that are entering the mines, the better for Solana. I think that's like a great framing.
Yeah, and one of the things I think Holy and the other leadership in Solana has retweeted and has posted about ores because they need diversification in Solana. They are incorrectly, of course, considered a meme chain. Like Solana is considered a meme chain by the ETH guys. And that's not true. There's a lot of unique dApps here. And sure, there's more DeFi on Ethereum. There's a lot of history there, right? Solana's a newcomer in relation to some of the stuff that was built on Ethereum years ago. But right, we need diversity here, and I think the leadership of Solana sees that in ore, because it's unique and it's on Solana. It's only on Solana. So I think that's part of my personal theory as to why they are going to be excited about ore and are now and will be in the future.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Thep and Garrett. Guys, I have exhausted all my topics, believe it or not. So I know that's hard to believe, but if you have
that is hard to believe.
If you have any thoughts or you want to share other ideas for what the community marketing looks like, please raise your hand and we will pull you up here aggressively by the collar and make you tell us everything you want to tell us.
Please, somebody raise your hand. I need a break from Brian speaking.
You can type as well. My voice is very soothing. I've been told it's wonderful. Thank you, sir.
I'll add one more thing that I think is important, and that's how do we make it really easy to build on ore? And so, in discussions we've had with Cubs and the Mine More team, I think a goal that actually Hard Hat Chat can play a major role in is developing developer tools for the community to make it easy to build on ore, for Cubs to kind of make it easier to iterate on his own product, and same with the Mine More team. And so
100%.
Developing those tools I think will be really key.
My last project did not have an SDK, and it was always requested. Where's your SDK? Where's your SDK? Where's your SDK? How many people did we lose because we didn't have an SDK? How many builders didn't build because there was no SDK? Great point. Please send a message to Hard Hat Chat. Please give SDK.
He's on it. Yeah.
What? He is? Whoa. Please give SDK.
Please give SDK. If everybody types that in the chat right now, then it'll probably happen.
And tag him. Tag HHC. It was not my idea. Don't tell him. It's not me. I didn't do this. You did it of your own volition.
I see Fred, he posted, in order for ore to become the Gen Z Bitcoin, Solana has to officially advertise ore as its ecosystem SOV. Do you guys believe that is true or not true?
I don't, first party support is good. My last project was tweeted by Arbitrum. That didn't hurt us for sure. But the rules that were in place about what they would tweet and how they would tweet it probably still apply to Solana, because they want to keep themselves on the up and up with legalese and so forth. So we couldn't mention price. We couldn't mention a number of things. We couldn't, they would just be like retweeting some of our announcements after they were sure they were sterilized. So I hope Solana could say, yeah, absolutely, or is the best thing ever made ever, and you're going to be rich. And that would be great if Solana tweeted that. But we have to keep ourselves a little grounded. They probably can't go that crazy. But I would love to see more first party support from Solana, sure. However that comes.
I think one of the key roles of the foundation will be kind of building those relationships with the foundation and maintaining those relationships.
If
Yeah,
you
with the
give me
Solana Foundation.
Tolly's name and address, his home address, I'll do what I can.
Yeah, I mean, Tolly's already a supporter, so it's not like we're that far off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just a matter of, I think, the foundation just utilizing and taking advantage of industry contacts in order to maximize the exposure to other industry partners, getting them on board with the product and getting them comfortable to talk about the product is going to be key.
They'll do it. They'll do it, and I think we will see. I think we will see some first party tweets.
Well, and I'll just say this: like, this is a prime example of what Hardhead Chat was talking about. It is not his personality to go to Vibhu like once a week and say like, "Can you guys tweet us more? Can you guys promote our product, et cetera, et cetera?" That will be the explicit kind of goal of the foundation. And so now we have a vehicle staffed with kind of like folks with deep relationships that can do that. I think that's exciting.
Oh, interesting. Ecstasy posted that there is actually one post from the Solana account or casually 10xing its revenue in a month only on Solana. So that did happen at one point, and that was during that bull run. So we could see that there are effects that help with or obviously to bring more people in
Yes.
if you get first party tweets. So
Yeah, and I think actually that was the result of like Mad Hatter, for example, has deep connections. He's constantly pinging his connections within the foundation, with the Solana Foundation at least. Hey, look at this, check this out. So it takes, not in addition to the OR Foundation, it takes all of us to kind of like be in the kind of mentions and comments below saying, check this out, look at this is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that Solana, being Solana native, in my personal opinion, I know that there's been discussions in the general chat that, oh, maybe OR should expand out to other chains. I don't personally believe that. I think maintaining first party and good relations with Solana itself and becoming the store of value that attracts people to Solana is a real big pull for both parties if they were to start advertising or start co-marketing efforts. I know that we ran into some whoopsies when we launched on multiple chains of my old project, and people would ask like, hey, didn't y'all just do this partnership with us? There's just all kinds of politics that should stay out of the way. So I would love to see more Solana stuff come
yeah,
or come out of the mouth of Solana. And
I think that's a really good point about the multi-chain aspect. Is now you're juggling multiple ecosystems, multiple contacts that you don't know if they like or dislike each other based on their affiliations. So it becomes such a yeah, like you said, a political game to manage all of that, and might take away from the efficiency of or the effectiveness of the foundation, having to
100%.
try to juggle all of those relationships. So it'd be great if we could. I personally think it'd be great if the foundation could just focus on the product itself and how to get it out there, rather than be stuck in meetings all day talking about how do I say this to a certain way to this person so it doesn't get back to this person, so it doesn't upset this person, right?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, you're bringing. I'm having flashbacks. I'm seizing in my chair right now. Oh. Okay, it's over. Thank goodness. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's stay on. Let's stay on Solana, please. Please.
So I see people asking about merch. Is that an initiative that the foundation would be taking on? I honestly, I don't know. I think it would be really cool though if the foundation got some merch out.
Actually, and just to jump back to the previous topic really quick.
Sure.
I totally agree. I think OR is Solana first, Solana native, Solana only. Where I do think there's opportunity is similar to how when protocols were maybe jumping from one chain to the other or adding Solana support. One of the things they did to build up goodwill was like add a bonk or add another quote unquote Solana culture coin to kind of boost visibility and bring that community in. I do think there's opportunity for OR to sell itself to those teams, the OR Foundation at least, to sell itself to those teams who have just like kind of made the bridge over and want to splash in the Solana ecosystem. And so kind of like keeping an eye out for opportunities like that, I think will be important for the foundation too.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a couple people mentioning how OR's revenue is entirely related to its price relative to some of those other tokens that have revenue counts. That's why increasing miner count is more important. I mean, that's literally why we're having the conversation is how do we get OR to more people and more exposure? Obviously, that's going to lead to higher miner counts if we can have the foundation market things right and have the community back it, and really, show that there's really something here for people to latch onto. So, agree with that wholeheartedly. A miner count is super important it's the lifeblood of OR.
Hard Hat Chad wants to do merch, by the way. That's something he also wants to do. So that will probably happen.
I
think that has to happen. We need merch.
I need merch, and we need to be at consensus. That will be awesome. I've been tooting that horn for like months now. If there's a consensus meetup and we're all wearing mining hard hats, which are not expensive, by the way, they're not, and you get a decal, just a simple decal on the side of both sides of your hard hat. People ask questions, and you wear, of course, the high vis vest with OR on the back, and you'll roam around consensus, and people will ask, or people will say, "Hey, dude, I mined OR." Like, so many conversations start at these big events because you're wearing the merch and you're walking around the event with it. I mean, lots of conversations. It's a very effective tool if you do go to these conventions. Be prepared to talk about the product, of course. If you don't know much about it, don't put the
Brian,
shirt on.
I envision you with the giant Oreo costume on with the OR logo on the front, walking around, and I don't know why, but that's the image that I got into my head, except it's you with the bird head with an Oreo costume on.
That would draw many questions. Too many questions, some might ask.
Yeah, that's where my head went, and it too drew a lot of questions in my mind, but somehow that's first thing I think of when I think of you and some sort of merch.
The PFPUC is a real piece of merch we made, and it exists. There are many in my closet, unfortunately, taking up space for someone I no longer work for.
Oh, bummer.
But it's a cute merch.
Does anybody have any questions? Want to come up to the stage? As Brian said, he's kind of exhausted all of his topics. I would really love to have some people come up and bring ideas to the table or chat about or what they think could work for marketing, what they think might not work. Did anything that Brian say you disagree with or agree with? I mean, happy to hear from anybody in this audience.
Please don't hurt me too much. Don't hurt my feelings. I also could use somebody to protect me from Starship. Dive on me. Dive on me. After the show, just dive on my body so you absorb the bonks.
All right. It seems like people are pretty satisfied at this point that they've gotten to talk.
Well, this was a good discussion.
I think that we need to have more discussions like this. Obviously, we kind of need to work out some timing to make sure that there's more people that would love to come up and have discussions at any time. But I think we got some productivity done here today. Is there any parting words that you guys have that you'd like to share to the audience?
I would just say thanks for joining during March Madness. And yeah, 2026 is the year of growth for OR. And there's really, really exciting prospects ahead. So let's be bullish.
Absolutely. I also would like to thank everybody for joining us, even though Crimson Desert has launched. So hats off to you. And please enjoy the game after the show's over.
All right, guys, we will let you know when we're having our next meeting, Minerside Chat. So appreciate you guys joining in. And I'll probably join into the VC a little bit later on. If you guys just want to have a more casual discussion, I'll be in there to hang out. And yeah, appreciate you guys joining in. And this is Starship Fronk signing off.
All right, guys. See y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.